So I just got done watching the first episode of Love Live Superstar and I have a lot of thoughts, I have a lot of feelings, and I'm just gonna completely ad-lib this recording. Usually I'd write a script so I don't ramble, but I think this is gonna be a true ramblings video because I've been waiting for this for a long time and I've been very hesitant about new iterations of Love Live in the past, but I was really excited for Superstar. I was hoping it would take me off guard, and it certainly has. So right off the bat, and this is like a really big thing to claim, but I think that Kanon is my favourite of the protagonists of any series. I found in the past the protagonists have never been my favourite characters. There's always been others that are more appealing to me and that have just overall more character in my opinion, but Kanon is there's so much depth to her character, and I really like that we got to see both sides of her personality, like the really nice, approachable, like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna be really kind to everyone because I'm at school and I'm in public kind of side, and then the really snarky, I'm gonna snap back at my family because they're being kind of shit to me side. And like, obviously she has every right to snap back at people for eavesdropping. I think her family's actually very funny. We did once again get like, oh, you know, it's character and she lives with her mum and her sister, and like, you know, they're in a cafe of sorts, and like, that's cool. That's fine. It's an absolutely fine setting. I didn't expect them to break every trope with Superstar, but you know, I'll take what I can get. So I do really like that we saw this snarky side of Kanon. That kind of character really appeals to me, and it feels like because they've only got 5 girls this time, they've been able to put more depth into them. Like, they haven't tried to make 9 girls that are really distinct and ended up flanderizing them. They've actually been able to make 5 like decently fleshed out characters, and that's really good. It's good for us because we get better characters that have more emotional beats and can be a lot more interesting to watch. And like, obviously that's really only going to show in like the anime and if they get added to All Stars, but it's still like, it's more interesting to be invested in characters that haven't been flanderized. It's like, oh, Yoshiko, she's the little demon, haha, Giran. Who is texting me? Anyway, like I did a presentation for my friends on why I wouldn't be watching Nijijisaki, and I went over like, oh, these are the tropes that we've seen, and these are the consistent character traits across all 3 iterations of Love Live. And at the time, we only had the characters, wow. We had the characters and the name for Love Live Superstar. We didn't actually, like, the voting for the group name hadn't started yet, so I had no idea what to expect. But one of the main things that I covered was the character tropes, like the protagonist all being cheery oranges, and there's always a member of the student council, all that kind of stuff. And we did get a bit of that in this, but I would not call Kanon a cheery orange. She's just, there's so much more to her than just being happy and determined. And it's good that we started with a character who had actually given up. Like, we saw her try and fail to reach her goals, and we got that context. Like, when she was talking to Chisato, she's like, that's it, I'm done. Like, I'm not playing this game anymore. Like, I did my best, and yeah, singing is fun, but I'm sticking to my words, and that's admirable. It's a good character trait that we have a protagonist that is going to stick to her words. But then, of course, at the end of the episode, she turns around and is like, actually, no, I do like singing, and I'm probably going to become an idol. And we know she's going to become an idol. Like, we've known that since before this episode aired. We've known that for months. But what's more important is her journey to how does she become an idol. And obviously, in this case, Tang is the driving force. Like, she was the plot driver in episode 1, and she's probably going to drive a lot of the plot in season 1. I'm assuming we're going to get season 2, that's how this goes. But I can see a lot of this plot being driven by Tang because she's a powerful character, and oh god, I have a lot of thoughts about her. So I I didn't think much of her from the promotional materials. I was like, oh yeah, you know, she looks cute, whatever. Hard to tell a character's personality from promo pics. I don't know if this is on purpose, if the voice actress has an accent, but Tang kind of sounds like she's doing uwu speak, and that really grates me. Like, I'll do uwu speak as a joke, but like, Ruby really got on my nerves when I first started watching Aqua, but obviously it's like, you know, she doesn't talk like that all the time. It's like that that one line in Genki Zenkai Day where it's right after the chorus. I'm like, what is that? What are you doing? It's like characters in the past have had voices that really annoy me, and that's fine. I can deal with that. But if her vocalizations are as a result of like an accent or something, that's fine. If they're purposely making her do uwu speak, oh man, she's not going to sit very high on my rankings of these characters. Overall, I think she's fine. She's obviously very motivated. I love that she's like super dedicated. That's very cool. Overall, she, like, so far we've seen one thing about her, and it's school idols. Let's be school idols. I want to be school idols with everyone. And like, that's fine. But there's got to be more to her. There's got to be, like, obviously her motivation. She wants to be a school idol. Cool. Why though? I want to know why, and I hope we get to find out why. Like, does she really like singing and dancing? Is there another driver? Like, it can't just be, I want to be a school idol. There's got to be a reason, and I think when we get that reason, I'll like her either a lot more or a lot less. We'll find out. Hopefully, from what I'm guessing from my knowledge of Love Live, is that we will find out about Tang's story first. Like, obviously we've got a little bit of Kanon. I think that we'll find out more about Tang next. If previous patterns or anything to go off, we'll learn about Ren. Now, Ren's character type is one that I'm always weak for, and from her promotional art, I was like, oh yeah, you know, like, she stands like very tall, she's very proud, she's probably the socially distant and aloof one, and she is. And I am weak for it. We were obviously going to have a character that was, you know, somehow related to the principal of the school, or was on the student council, the student council president. Oh man, we don't have those in Australia, so I'm like, I never actually know what they're called. I'm pretty sure it's student council president, but the character that comes along and is like, I have a position of authority in this school, and you are not allowed to be school idols. And we'll find out why. I hope it's a good reason. I hope it's not just like a personal vendetta. Like, I really liked Ellie's reasoning for not wanting to be an idol. Like, she'd done performance, and she knows how hard it is, and she knows that you can't just throw yourself on a stage and expect things to go well. And I hope that Ren has a motivation like that, but we'll find out, I suppose. Chisato is cool. Obviously we don't know much about her yet, but I like that she's that kind of supportive best friend, and even though she got into the music course that Kana really wanted to get into, she's very humble about it. She's like, oh, you know, yeah, I'll do my dancing and I'll have fun, and also I got a new job, that's cool. It's always good to see the characters outside of school, because it gives us more depth and more story about them as individuals and the kind of lives that they lead. And that's just fun. I really like the scenes that don't take place at the school. So far my favourite thing about Chisato is her hair. It's very cute. And I hope that she does become like a more fleshed out character. She's not just like the supportive best friend. Like, if I was to liken her to anyone else, it feels like she fits the role of like Kotori and Umi, but in their cases, like, those characters both had a lot of depth, and they had outside hobbies, and I really hope that we get that with Chisato as well. And if my assumption that because there's only 5 of them, we're going to get more depth is right, then we will get that, and I will be very happy about it. Sumire? The blonde one. I really like her. I like that she comes off as very, very rude, but she's like a total dork. From the promo trailers, we see her being an absolute dork when she's got food, and that appeals to me. Characters that have that sort of duality just they are Shawnee bait. They're Tensei bait, and they always end up being my favorites. So at this point, my favorite is probably going to be Kanon or Sumire, and it's probably going to be the latter, because I usually don't go for the protagonist. I basically shoot myself in the foot on that one, because there's never as many solo songs for the not protagonists, but it's fine. I do like that she, I think that Sumire has a lot of secrets. She's probably that character who's like, oh no, I hate School Idols, what are you talking about? But she's actually a massive fan, and I imagine that at some point we're gonna have a throwback to Muse or Aqua or both, because that's what happens, which I think would be cool. I know in the past, there's been parallels drawn, like in Sunshine, when Daya and Ruby were talking about idols, it was like, oh, I really like Ellie and I really like Hanyo, and it's like, well, yeah, because you guys are almost direct clones of them. But I feel like we didn't get that this time. I don't get similar vibes from any of these characters, at least not in terms of their personalities. Design-wise, it's like, oh, Tang kind of looks like Watanabe, and Ren is just it's Ellie again, but her hair's a different color. And that's fine. But we kind of going into a new Love Live thing, we know they're all gonna have the same face. That's just how it goes. Personality-wise, I think we have a very, very intriguing cast of characters, and I'm very excited to see where they go and what happens, how the group comes together, and how Tang breaks them all, because she's definitely going to be the one that brings the group together. There's no doubt about that. Visually, it's very nice. Obviously, they've been improving a lot since Muse, and I like that they're playing with expressions and with different angles. As always, there's a lot of detail put into the eyes. That's a staple of Love Live, but I did like that there was a lot of interesting shots, particularly when we're getting monologues from Kanon. There's a lot of close-ups of her face, and it makes the moment very personal, and that really adds to it. It really adds to that atmosphere. I hope that we get really cool, intriguing shots during the songs, the insert songs. During the final song of episode 1, we did get some really nice effects, and obviously they used the 3D models, which is fine. I'm not against the 3D models. I actually think the way they integrate them it's quite nice. It's better. It's definitely better than it was, but there were a couple times where the characters kind of looked like they were floating, they weren't actually standing on the ground, which that's fine. That's not a big issue. I don't have any major qualms about how it looks. I think it's very pretty, and the characters, they fit into the environment, which is always good. It's always weird when you've got characters that don't look like they fit. The setting is also very cool. I hope that we get to see some Harajuku shots, I'm hoping we get to see them in Harajuku costumes. That would be very cool. And what else is there? The songs were good. I think it's cute that we got that sort of remix version of Kanon's song at the end with everyone singing together. I thought it was a little weird to have all 5 of them singing with her, considering it wasn't the outro song, it was just a song at the end, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have all 5 of them. It's like, well, the other 3 of them haven't joined the group yet. One of them is still severely against the group. Technically the only member at this point is Tang. Kanon didn't officially join her. She just kind of ran back and was like, no, I love singing, and then sang a song and realized that, oh man, I sang in front of people. That's really cool. And that was a really good moment. A lot happened in this episode, and there was a lot of emotional growth from Kanon, which is fine. You can put that much in an episode. I just hope that they don't put that much in future episodes, because otherwise we are going to be overloaded with stuff. Like, what's probably going to happen is we'll get an episode dedicated to Kanon and Tang recruiting each different girl, or maybe they'll recruit all of them except like maybe Ren, and they'll do a concert and it'll be like, oh wow, actually they're really good. And that'll be sort of the turning point for season 1. We'll see. I really hope that they do change the plot structure from previous series, because, you know, I love Muse, I love Aqua, but the anime is just the same shit twice. There's no denying that, and being aware of that is what has made me so excited for Superstar. I was like, wow, only 5 girls. Hopefully we get different things. And so far, it feels like we are. Like, obviously, the setup, the premise, like, oh, a new school. Like, there's no way this one's gonna shut down, right? Sort of the idea that these girls can, I guess in a way, reinvent themselves. Like, even though Kanon has already failed the entrance exams, they'll put her in the music course. That's gonna happen. That's inevitable. But it's the journey that matters. Like, I predicted what would happen in the Nijijisaki anime based on the plots of Aqua and Muse. I still haven't watched it. I don't plan on watching it, but I'm pretty sure I was pretty close, I think. I could re-record that presentation and upload it. It's very outdated, but if people are actually interested in me doing that, I will gladly re-record and upload it. It's very funny. Overall, good episode. I might keep doing these sort of rambles for the future episodes. I guess it depends how I feel and how much time I've got, but so far, Love Live Superstar looks good, sounds good. I like Kanon. Tang is okay so far. I hope she gets better.